a bit of sense, but also she's a little insane.
And what
I
might
mean,
that
she's a
be?
split personality as a serial killer, so I'm not surprised.
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi!
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all.
The hammer that was cleaned off, in the room that both of them were found, Celeste could have used it and then cleaned it off.
But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
Yeah.
So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
I agree.
Yeah, it's
Space
packed in there
fucker gone.
good and tight.
He's right, though.
He doesn't know that that was an insult.
The
Yeah.
Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying
That's what
around
makes him
those
such a.
other
Honestly,
rooms-
he's a great character.
So the
Just because he's so
question is,
dumb.
How could the culprit
He's so
have
dumb
gotten their
that
hands
he
on
can
either
help
of the
explain
hammers?
things for the player to understand it. Because he's going to ask the stupid questions, and then we'll have to answer them, and then it'll help us.
Personally,
it's
I
weird,
haven't
but I
a clue.
understand why he's stupid. They need a stupid character to be like, why is this? Well, this doesn't make any sense. Like, well, yeah, it does, you idiot.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in
It's
other
actually
rooms
quite
too.
smart.
And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
Is it not possible they used
Doesn't
a
matter
different
how
weapon?
big the hammer
I
is.
don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Fumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we find that out. Somehow I have to find the truth. Oh god, another argument thing? Jesus.
Oh, what's in the triad? Hey Siri, open Discord. So what date for
was
the
used
movie?
to
The
kill
5th?
Hifumi? Was
For
it
the movie,
Justice
the
Hammer
5th or
3?
12th?
Justice Hammer 4?
I think
5th would be best, right?
Yeah.
well,
Because
whatever
I don't know if band would be
there's
started by
one thing
then.
we have to figure out.
Not on the
How
5th
was
it
the
wouldn't.
culprit
But I think
able
on the
to
12th
move
it would
around
be.
so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
Okay, well, whatever. That's a mission. I need to restart it anyway.
What
Okay.
was used to kill Hifumi?
No? Okay, well. I figured. Well, no, because we're trying to look for contradictions.
What was
not.
used to kill
Yeah, that makes
Hifumi?
sense. Okay. I need to
Was
stop
it
overthinking
Justice
it.
Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer.
Well, whatever, there's one thing we have. How was the culprit able to move around so how did nobody witness them carry? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5! Check out murdergear.com/hammer.
Well, one
Wait, check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more
The
info.
murder weapon had to be one
Alright,
of the
I'm
Justice
typing that in
Hammers.
right now.
And
Murdergear.com/hammer.
/hammertime.
.com
The murder weapon
/
wasn't a
hammer
justice hammer at
time.
all. No, it was.
But seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically,
Right, /
a hammer from the
hammer
repository.
time.
The killer
goes
could have
to-
easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the
Hey, look,
hammers in the
it's like a
repository
zombie
were covered in
T-shirt or
flecks of
something. It's
grit
an
and
actual
debris.
Oh, interesting.
But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood,
See,
of course they'd have to clean it off.
It's entirely unrelated to the game, which is sad.
It feels like this trial's about to end, but at the same time, we haven't even like started to suspect anyone yet. So it feels like it's far from over, and I don't like
I'd also
that.
like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's
Okay, let
true,
us know
that
when you
would
figure it
explain
out.
The Monokuma Files note about the.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the
Because of
true
Band.
killer.
Band
one who
shouldn't
Fumi
be
was
back
working with.
until a bit after the
And the
5th.
one who betrayed him.
Yeah.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
According to Landon.
Wait a minute. So Celeste just dug herself into a hole because she just said that, why would anyone work with Hifumi? Because he wouldn't gain anything out of it. But what if Celeste stole Alter Ego? And then said that
Or-
Taco stole it?
Ruthless is paying for the tickets.
Okay.
So the idea that anyone would work together like
I'm just
that is
letting,
simply ludicrous.
Matthew
we
know.
talked about this, did we not?
Non-Jesus Matthew.
We did talk
Okay.
about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but
If Celeste took... They're talking about Alter Ego in front of Monokuma, which is pretty stupid of them.
well, no one brought it up. I'm just saying that, like, that's how they bribed Hifumi.
Based on the rules that
I
have
think,
been laid
yeah.
out for us,
No, they
even
said his
if
name
more
though,
than
right?
One person is complicit in the
Earlier they
murder,
did.
Only the one who actually
Out loud,
carried
yeah,
out
and
the
they have a
act
couple
can
times before that
graduate
as well.
and survive. Assuming
pretty
the
dumb.
rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work.
That is how the rule was.
But that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Can you really say there's no chance you could work together?
Based on the rules that have been laid out, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
No, that's wrong.
Boom, boom, boom.
Baba Booey.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
True.
What do you mean?
So true.
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved
Oh
from a
jeez.
murder,
No,
an accomplice
there's
has
creeper in my
risk
house.
versus
Creeper in my
reward
house.
benefit.
Come on, bud.
Risk
Get out of there, mate.
versus
I don't want you
reward.
blowing up my good
Benefit?
redstone.
The payoff for working together.
I
The
tricked out
reward
this
that
house,
balances
mate.
out
Get
the
out of
risk
there.
of taking part in a scheme.
Anyway.
There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka.
Okay, I was about to say thank God, but for the reasoning is because they gives us more reason to spy Hifumi with like a burning passion because they killed Taco.
They made him carry out the
Rude.
first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Which honestly, it sounds like a lot of this was one big gamble
The mastermind picked their target and
True that.
managed to convince him to go along with their plan.
because they were gambling on the fact that we would all believe that Hero is the main suspect, and I guess they thought that we were dumber than
And
that
then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they
because
simply
we figured it
killed
out
their
almost
accomplice.
immediately.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same, that was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a seriously connected event, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at
understand
this.
how an accomplice could
Don't we
be
not
involved,
know
but then who was the one
what
pulling
she's the
Hifumi's
ultimate whatever?
strings?
Yeah, we don't know. Right now, she's
Yeah.
still the ultimate question mark.
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a murder of actions and in the end murder them. In the debates up until now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person that seems to fit. Celeste.
Here's my
She was
answer.
Oh my god! Genius.
It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really
Poker
do
face.
like this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What is it that only Celeste, Oh yeah, encountering the suspicious individual.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit.
They were the only
Doesn't
ones to see it.
The only ones who
Makes
ever
sense.
actually saw Robo
Yeah.
Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Okay.
Damn.
Sorry.
Okay, bud.
As he said,
Shots
only
fired.
Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw shadows, something moving at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Slash, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw the strange costume man! He ran off as soon as I screamed! I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Is that why she screamed so loud? Was it like a cue? Because Byakuya specifically says in the scene that that was a really loud scream. What was that? I came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi's in the nurse's. Oh, Hifumi's in the nurse's office. Makoto hits puberty mid-sentence. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Oh, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
She was completely in control of the situation, and that's what made us so suspicious.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
I'm 8 steps ahead.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going
Smarter than
according to plan."
Bakugan.
Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another
Wait, what
strange
happens if there's two blackened at once and they both get away with it? Do they both get to escape? Or is there only one?
See, that's something that hasn't been talked about yet. And again, I've only played the first two, so that could be a thing of the third one. But at least so far, I don't think that's the case ever. Which is odd, because you'd think with how, like, they go into such detail with this game, that you'd think that at one point they'd be like, huh, we never considered that. But no, it's
When we
weird.
found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending
Unless
to
they
be dead.
do it in this one and I can't remember, but I don't think so? Because we're on, what, chapter 3? And I think there's only, like, 6 chapters, maybe? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, she was the one who said he was murdered so that we would get it in our heads that he was.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
That's poetic, Byakuya. You should write poetry. Become the ultimate poet.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What?
What are you talking about?
I don't even know what he's talking
I'm
about.
talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all gonna die here. We're gonna die just like those guys. Oh, those guys.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
I guess if you were to just listen to that, you'd think that she was referring to everyone who's died
Then
so
pay
far.
attention. Sakura,
but-
Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make any sense, but what is he alluding to? I know what he's alluding to. I'm just 8 steps ahead of Makoto here.
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Acting.
Just like those guys died.
I need to highlight something
And
to
that
shoot it
is
with
all I
that.
said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious,
Unless
isn't it?
it
What
is?
was so strange about
Celeste's
Oh.
comment?
There we go.
All I said was, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die.
No, that's wrong.
Boom.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
Yeah.
When
kinda
she said
sussy.
that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment
I'm just
room
saying
for
Celeste
herself.
had a chance to be like, oh wait, he's talking about that. I said those guys, and then not refer to it that way, and then we would have completely been thrown off. But
So how did you know, Celeste?
I guess Byakuya would have explained it either way.
How did you know
But
more
still.
than one person had been killed?
It's a video
And
game.
how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Oh, true. I didn't even think about that.
Pum pum pum.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took?
You set it up, obviously.
Uh-huh.
If they couldn't bend
How
at the
do you
waist or
explain this
anything, you
picture
could
of
just
the
easily
costumed
put
villain
like
dragging
someone in
Hifumi
it
away?
and then pose it that way.
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
Because Hifumi's
So let's
working
put
with
the
her.
suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to
No,
set
It
up the
doesn't have a
picture.
timer.
that's not
Have you
it.
so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other
Sus.
explanation. If it wasn't the picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is
Been drinking.
Hifumi is dragging the suspect
I got
away.
it. It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi.
Yeah, he's like
but
giving
the
it like a
person in the
piggyback
robot
ride
suit.
type thing.
We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Okay. Celeste thinks she can prove there's no way Hifumi was dragged away. Dragged the sex away. Is that really possible? Oh. Oh, make your argument again? Jesus, how much of this am I gonna have to do? God. Robo Justice Blueprints, probably.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious,
Bye.
Shoot!
You dressed me up in that suit, then you just draped me. You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person in there's no way
They could stand up straight like that.
So then it's the other Robo Justice thing. But I guarantee myself that it's that one.
You dressed
I just
me
thought
up in
it
that
could be the
suit after I
blueprint.
passed out!
'Cause-
Then you just
yeah.
draped. You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside there's no way
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
There we go.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't beat it the way. Seems like it's a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste
Oh,
and
that
Hifumi
hurt her.
took the suit they'd specially designed
We
and
won.
stuffed Hero into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us
The
believe
point of the
whoever
mask?
was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
checkmate?
She about to go insane.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot!
Oh my
What do you
god.
mean, checkmate!
Oh my god, that face is visceral.
Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Fumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to
Still
kill you?
simping to the grave.
Who killed me? That's right, I remember the name Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro. But are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Also, you're making it extremely obvious that you're behind it
Kyoko,
by acting
what
like
do you
that.
mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names.
God! That's right. Our last names. He called us all by our last names.
But Celeste's last name is Ludenberg.
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once,
Unless
for
it's
example.
a fake name.
So if Hifumi did mean
But
to
how
say
would he
Hiro's
know
name,
that it's a fake
he
name?
would have said his last name, Hagakure.
That doesn't make any
I'm
sense.
sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say?
I guess whenever we first met her, we did accuse her of using a fake name, and then she was like, "What are you talking about, you idiot?"
To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
Right now, yes, because considering you're crying about it.
Well,
Oh my
do
god.
I?
She is that gamer age face. Jesus.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up!
My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Kyoko said that the e-handbooks would play a part in this role, in this case, just not a major one. So is that what they mean? So let's don't give us so then. I have something to do to make her accept that. We have to be like, hey, yo.
Show us the e-handbook.
Yeah.
Boom.
E-handbook.
Roasted.
I can't switch beforehand. I have to wait for it to actually start up. That's cringe.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might...
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name...
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending, and since you have no way to contradict me...
E-handbook, let's go. We won, she lost. Once again, the e-handbook is
That's
the
it.
deciding factor
The
in this case, huh?
handbook.
What?
Uh-huh.
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.